Surface areas and volumes, chapter 3, concepts. Okay, we'll go into what are the different types of areas and volumes for which shapes we find out. We'll just go into that. So first, cuboid. What is a cuboid? We'll see. See, the figure is over here. A cuboid is a closed three-dimensional geometrical figure. Why it is a three-dimensional geometrical figure? Because it's having length, breadth and height. That's why it's called as three-dimensional geometric figure, having 6 phases. So you can see, if you take a wall, if you take a room, you can see that they're having 4 phases, and top and down, that is plus 2, you're getting totally 6 phases. Or if you take a matchbox also, you can see the 4 sides you're having 4 phases, and top and down it is the other 2. So totally 6 phases it's having. 8 vertices. 8 vertices are all those dots which I have named them as A, B, C, D, A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash. Those are called as the vertices. And 12 edges. All those lines which are in blue color and yellow color, those are named as 12 edges. The faces of the cuboid are always parallel, but not all faces of a cuboid are equal in dimensions. If they are equal in dimensions, then it becomes a cube. Okay, all faces of a cuboid are equal in dimensions. That is, the parallel. In a matchbox only you can see the 2 faces are parallel, but the other 2 faces also are parallel, but all the 4 are not equal in shape. All the 4 rectangles are not equal in shape. So therefore these are the different phases which we are having. 8 vertices, 12 edges. Those are all named over here. You can see in the figure which is the length, breadth and height also is given over there. So from this, we are just going into the formulas. We are not deriving any formulas. Which formulas we'll be using in this chapter, we'll be just seeing into that. So those formulas I have just written down. So these are the concepts which we'll be using for doing all the exercise problems. So let L, B and H be the length, breadth and height of a cuboid respectively. Then what is the volume of a cuboid, total surface area of a cuboid, lateral surface area of a cuboid, and a diagonal we'll see. Okay, so volume is nothing but length into breadth into height, cubic units. Cubic units you're having for volume, because L is in, suppose is 1 unit, B is 1 unit, that is breadth is 1 unit, height is 1 unit. So all 3 when you're multiplying, you're going to get it as cubic units. So volume is equal to length into breadth into height, cubic units. Total surface area of a cuboid is equal to all the phases you're going to add. How many ever phases you're having? That is totally you're having 6 phases, isn't it? So all those if you're adding, you're going to get it as length 2 into LB plus BH plus HL. All are repeated twice. So therefore that will become the total surface area. Lateral surface area is only the 4 walls we are taking. Suppose you're taking a room, you're not going to take the top and the bottom. The roof and the ground you're not going to take. So when you're considering that, you're going to only consider the 4 walls. That is, area of 4 walls of is also the same as lateral surface area. 4 walls of a room, you can take it as lateral surface area, which is equal to 2 into L plus B into H square units. What is the diagonal? Diagonal is equal to root of L square plus B square plus H square units. Okay, so these are the formulas which you have to remember for cuboid. Then what is a cube? We'll see. Cube is nothing but when all the edges, that is all the sides, all the edges of a cuboid are equal in length, it is called a cube. So example over here, you can take it as ice cube, a dice, etc. Here example, you can take a matchbox, and even for a cuboid you can take it as a matchbox, a room, you can take a book. So all these are examples of a cuboid. Yeah, so we can just write down here examples. Example, a book, matchbox, etc. So these are the examples of a cuboid. Now going into cube, when all sides or edges of a cuboid are equal in length, it is called a cube. So you're having here the example of a cube is ice cubes, dice, etc. So if length of each edge of a cube is A units, if you're taking it as A units, then the volume, you know that the volume of a cuboid where all three are different, that is length, breadth and height are different. Here the length, breadth and height are equal, so we are taking it as A, so it becomes A cubed cubic units. Total surface area is equal to, now you're having length into breadth and height, all three are equal, so it's equal to 6A square units. Lateral surface area is equal to 4A square units. Diagonal is equal to root 3. Out of that you have root 3A units. It's not under the root A, it's outside. So root 3A units. Next, what's a cylinder? We'll see. A right circular cylinder is a solid generated by the revolution of a rectangle about one of its sides. So you're having circular pipes, pillars, etc. All these are nothing but cylinders. Okay, now how do we get, if you take a plain sheet of paper, a A4 sheet, okay, that's having length and breadth, when you're folding it, you're making one revolution, you're getting, if you fold it once, you can see up you'll get one circle, down you'll get one circle, and this length will become nothing but the height of the cylinder, and the breadth part wherever you are taking, that you'll be taking it as the area of the top circle and down circle, and you can take in the perimeter for lateral surface area. So for this, what we are doing here, so let R be the radius and H be the height of a cylinder, then we have volume is equal to pi r square H, that is area of the base. What is the area of the base? Base is nothing but a circle, isn't it? So what is the area of the base? It is pi r square, area of a circle, and your length has become your height for this now, for the cylinder. So therefore area of base into height means pi r square into H we are getting. Next, what is the curved surface area? Curved surface area is nothing but the perimeter of the base. Perimeter of the base, perimeter is nothing, base is a circle, so perimeter of the base is 2 pi r into the height, so that is 2 pi r H. Now total surface area is nothing but, you're having top and down two areas, that is area of two circles plus curved surface area. You know what is the curved surface area? So here curved surface area is nothing but 2 pi r H plus 2 pi r square, which is equal to 2 pi r into H plus r. So this is the total surface area. Area of each end, that is the circles which you are having top and down, is nothing but pi r square. Next, going into right circular hollow cylinder. It's something like a pipe. You have a thickness for a pipe, so we take the inner radius and the outer radius. So let small r and capital R be the internal and external radii of hollow cylinder of height H. That cylinder, that hollow pipe is nothing but, which is in the shape of a cylinder, is height is H. So area of each end is equal to what? Pi r square, capital R square minus pi r square. This capital R is the bigger edge, bigger radii. That is from this end to this end. The smaller radii is here, you can see from the figure also. So therefore pi into r square, capital R square minus small r square will give you area of each end. Now curved surface area. Now curved surface area is equal to inner curved surface area plus outer curved surface area. So inner curved surface area is 2 pi small r H plus 2 pi capital R H is the outer surface area. Therefore it is equal to 2 pi H into r plus small r plus capital R. Total surface area is again the curved surface area plus area of the both the ends. So what you have here, 2 pi r H plus 2 pi capital R H, and area of each end you can see from the top also, you have it as pi r square minus pi r square plus each end. You are having two ends. So therefore from the first formula whatever we have taken, that we have to write here 2 times, because area of, you are having a circle in the down and on the top also. So therefore you are writing it 2 times. You are getting it as 2 pi H. If you take out common here, getting small r plus capital R plus 2 pi capital R square minus 2 pi small r square. So after writing out the formula, you are getting it as 2 pi H into small r plus capital R plus 2 pi into r plus r into r minus r, because r square minus r square is written as a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b. So then the same way here you are writing it as r plus r into capital R minus r, small r, capital R plus small r. So which is equal to 2 pi into r plus r. If you are taking out common from both of them, this is common from both of them, which I have underlined in white. So now if you take out common, you are left here with h, and here you are left with r minus r, so that we have written in bracket. So total surface area is nothing but of a right hollow, circular hollow cylinder is nothing but 2 pi small r plus capital R into h plus capital R minus small r. Now volume of a material is equal to external volume minus internal volume. So which is equal to pi r square h. We are going to remove that volume, that small volume which is occupied by that hollow cylinder. So therefore that we are removing, which is pi small pi r square h, small r we are taking there. Therefore pi h into capital R square minus r square, small r square. This is the volume of the material. Okay, right circular cone. What's a right circular cone? If a right angle triangle is revolved about one of the sides containing the right angle, the solid thus generated is called a right circular cone. So now this is a right angle. If it is rotated over there, you're getting a cone over there. It's a right circular cone. So if if small r, small h and small l be the radius, height and slant height of the cone respectively, here you can see which is the radius, r is written down over here, h is this line here which is forming a right angle over there, and small l is that slant height. So small l, the slant height is a word which is introduced in this cone over here. So small l is equal to, because it's a right angle triangle, you know that this is r. Here this part is r. If you're considering this triangle over here, if you're taking this OBC, you can see from this that L square is equal to r square plus h square, or L is equal to root of r square plus h square. So from there we have got this formula here. So this, which implies r is equal to root of L square minus h square, and h is equal to root of L square minus r square. Whichever is given, we can find out the 2 if they are given, we can find out the third value. Now what's the curved surface area over here? Curved surface area is nothing but pi r L. Total surface area over here is nothing but curved surface area plus area of the base. So pi r L plus pi r square. That is pi r, if you take out common, L plus r you get inside the brackets. Now what is the volume of this cone? It's nothing but 1 by 3 pi r square h, which is equal to 1 by 3 into area of base into height. Next, what is a sphere? It is the locus of a point in space which moves such that its distance from a fixed point is always constant. This is a fixed point, and if it is moving around a locus in this point, in this way, you can see that the radius, all these points such that its distance from a fixed point is always constant. That means it's equal. Wherever you take a point on the circle, this is nothing but the radius from the center from that fixed point, and that is nothing but a radius which is always equal. So therefore you're having, what are the different examples of this sphere is cricket ball, you're having football, tennis ball, etc. Mercury ball also you have those small ones. Those all are examples of spheres. So if small r be the radius of a sphere, then surface area is equal to nothing but 4 pi r square. So circles, if you take 4 circles together and join, that will become the surface area of a sphere. Circle area is pi r square. If you take 4 circles, different circles, and join them together, that will become surface area of your sphere. If you add all those surface area, you get 4 pi r square. So what's the volume of a sphere? It is 4 by 3 pi r cubed. For a hemisphere, now we'll go into what is an hemisphere. Surface area is equal to 2 pi r square. That is, if you take only the bottom part, only the semicircle, if you take, that becomes an hemisphere. So this becomes surface area, all by 2 it becomes. So therefore here you're getting volume area, surface area is equal to 2 pi r square. Total surface area is equal to 2 pi r square plus pi r square. Only 3 circles we are taking it, that is, you are having, it is equal to 3 pi r square, because it is closed from top. In a sphere, the total surface area and surface area is the same, that is 4 pi r square itself. In hemisphere, you are having total surface area is 3 pi r square, surface area is 2 pi r square, and volume is equal to, if you divide the volume of a sphere by 2, you will get it as 2 by 3 pi r cubed. So this is the hemisphere part. Now going into what is the spherical shell. Now you're having a shell, spherical shell, that is also having some inner radii and outer radii of the sphere. Then volume of such type of material is nothing but is equal to some thickness it has, that's a sphere. So what is, when we are taking such type of a spherical shell, then we have to use this formula. So volume of the material is equal to 4 by 3 pi capital R cube minus 4 by 3 pi small r cube. That is, you can see what is the capital R and small r. Therefore the formula volume of this type of material is 4 by 3 pi capital R cube minus small r cubed. Now what is a hemispherical shell? In the same way you have to take what is the volume of a material. We have taken here for a sphere, so in the same way we are taking here for a hemisphere. It will become 2 by 3 pi into capital R cube minus small r cubed, or 2 by 3 pi r cubed capital R cube minus 2 by 3 pi small r cubed. CSA, if edge is ignored, is nothing but equal to 2 pi r square plus 2 pi capital R square. Now CSA, if edge is included, it is equal to 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r square plus pi capital R square minus pi r square, which is equal to 3 pi r square plus pi r square. Now next we have what is frustum of a right circular cone. Frustum is the first time you are hearing. You have it in a right circular cone. That is a bucket, a glass tumbler. All these are few examples of frustum of a cone, and it is a part of a right circular cone. So in the first part of the figure, consider a plane through the cone and parallel to its base. The cross section of the cone cut by the plane is a circle. So now here you are getting a circle, but it's a smaller circle than this down circle. If you are cutting it by this plane, this is a plane which you are having, which is written here. This is the plane. So now that's it's also a circle. The second and third parts of the figure show that if the part of the cone as cut by the plane are separated and the lower part is retained, this part is called the frustum of the right circular cone. So if this lower part, whichever you are having, that is where it is cut by this white line, this lower part is nothing but the frustum. You can see in the third figure because it's cut out over there. Now frustum of a cone is a solid obtained after removing the upper position of the cone by a plane parallel to its base. The lower portion thus obtained is called frustum of the cone. So if the radii of the bigger and smaller bases of the frustum are capital R and small r, slant height b small l, then slant height L is equal to root of h square plus capital R minus small r whole square. What is the curved surface area of a frustum? It is nothing but pi into capital R plus small r into L. Total surface area is equal to CSA plus pi r square. The top part circle area and the down part circle area. The top part will be smaller, the down part will be little bigger. So you are having here the slant height also. You can see why it is taken as capital R minus small r whole square. You can always see that it is a right circular cone over here, it becomes smaller over here. So therefore you are taking it in that way. That's why you are taking it as capital R minus small r whole square. Now what is the volume? Volume is nothing but 1 by 3 pi r cubed. H is for a cone, isn't it? So but here you are having, in the place of r cube, you have to write all this r cube plus r square plus capital R into small r. This is into here. Now in case of a bucket which is open from the side of the bigger face, so volume is equal to 1 by 3 pi h into r square plus capital R into small r. This is also r square. Volume is equal to that into this. So r square, I'm sorry, it is pi r square h, isn't it? 1 by 3 pi r square h. So 1 by 3 pi into h into the place of r square, we are having this capital R square plus small r square plus capital R into small r. So in case of a bucket which is open from the side of bigger face, volume is equal to 1 by 3 pi h into capital R square plus small r square plus capital R into small r, and total surface area is equal to CSA plus pi r square. Now slant height of the frustum of a cone is equal to root of h square plus capital R minus small r whole square. So height of the cone of which the frustum is a part is equal to, so height of the cone is of which the frustum is a part, hr by r minus r. This is the height of the cone. Slant height of the cone of which the frustum is a part is equal to L into r by r minus r. So these are the formulas which will be using in the exercise. So these are the different formulas which you're having. Mainly we'll be using volume, total surface area, slant height and curved surface area. So these four formulas are mainly used over here. So you can just look at those formulas. And what is the first frustum? It is nothing but in the shape of a tumbler or a bucket. So you'll take the top and the down surface and then you'll write down all the formulas in this one. So this is these are the concepts. If you remember all these, we can do the exercise problems of curved surface area.